becomes very difficult and very, very challenging for us. So how do we kind of, while we are young, while we are single, it's not very difficult for us to just focus on a career because everything else is taken care of. Your parents are there to take care of you, or you have a, help at home, etc. But this whole dynamic changes when you decide to kind of get into a whole family system, when you're married, when you have children. And as and you realize that, a lot of your time is consumed because of you donning the role of a wife, a parent. And if you're a caregiver and if you've got aging parents, that also adds to it. Sometimes in many organizations, when you're at the peak of your career and you decide to have a family or you decide to get married, I think all your ambitions are all thwarted. Your plans kind of go for a toss. Organizations start viewing you differently, saying, okay, fine, I don't think she'll be able to devote so much time. What do we do, etc. It becomes very, very, I'm sure most of you all who would have gone through it, I've gone through it. So I think it becomes quite agonizing because at one, there's a tug of war between your inspirations, your aspirations, and your duties, which you got to fulfill as a wife, as a parent, as a daughter, and so on and so forth. But of course, I think one shouldn't be disheartened. Wherever possible, if we can lean on to the social system, the support system, if you have the family support system, if you can manage domestic help, if you can talk to your employers of, we're giving you a little bit of flexi timing, those things can obviously help. Just recently, a couple of weeks back, there was an article in the Hindu Business Line that the openings for various women returning to the workforce have kind of increased by 18% as a result of various initiatives taken by the corporates and the government organizations to increase diversity in the workforce, which is a very good thing for all the women out here. That really gives you a lot of opportunities. Sectors such as healthcare and pharma, education, BFSI, and technology industry has seen such hirings. If you can probably refer this to the Hindu Business Line article, which was there a couple of weeks back. How does one resume and how does one come back after a gap of so many years? My suggestion would be that you don't have to get overwhelmed. I think let's just make it very simple. Don't get overwhelmed as to how do I get back? How do I do this? How do I navigate? I think first you make a list of your skills, what you had, what you've built, and where do you think you can add value. Make a list of those skills where you're already there. Second, reach out to all your connects who were your old colleagues, ex-colleagues in the industry. Reach out to them, take suggestions, and start building your CV. How do you build your CV? Your CV can be built by explaining the career gap, and you don't have to be guilty about it. A career gap is something which is fine, is absolutely fine, as long as you're candid enough to do it. Say for what reasons, whether it was being a caregiver, whether it was devoting time to your children, or just wanted to take a sabbatical and just be, just want to take it easy. I mean, don't be absolutely guilty about it. Be honest. The second part is, I think, start building some skills, upskilling. You can probably upskill by taking on various online courses like, on Coursera, Udemy, get some certifications, add those certifications to your resume, which really kinds of build it up, which also shows that you're in line and you're updated with the recent happenings in the industry. This really makes a big difference. As I said, reach out and rebuild your network. Make a list of all the people you know. Start meeting them, engaging with them, taking their advice, seeking as to what can I do? How can I reach out? How can I get back into the workforce? Also, if the interest, also try and learn the in-demand skills. Like times have changed. We moved from a very physical environment to a very digital environment. Somebody who's interested in technology, in emerging technologies, upskill on your AI, ML, cloud computing, data analytics. There are a lot of upskilling platforms such as Odin School, ODIN School, which runs special programs for women keen to join the workforce. There's a lot of these companies have now started embarking on programs, cohorts, etc., for people to join the for the returning women to join the workforce, such as the companies such as JP Morgan, HSBC, Tata Starbucks. Tata has a second careers program. Genpact has a returning monk program. IBM has it. Accenture has a career boot program. So we can all start looking at their websites. They post actively on LinkedIn. Go through all the company websites. Look at them. Look at the options for returning to women careers. And of course, there's always Aspire for Her, which also does a lot of these various cohorts with various organizations. Be part of that fraternity and start getting into that groove of things. The first important is start navigating your way. Start getting into the groove, and then you'll obviously find your way. One should always, and also I would say that when you're starting after like a gap of 5, 7, 10 years, whatever the gap may be, don't come with any baggage. Keep your mind open. Keep your mind open to any opportunities that come your way. You may think, "Arey, but my skill set was X, but I'm moving. They're asking me for a thing to do this," but I'm saying, do it. At least it gives you a foothold into the organization. You can prove yourself. You will also see where your interests lie because there's been a gap, there's been a change. So let your mind also absorb the various changes happening around you, happening around the environment. You will also be in touch with various people in the organization who will be able to guide you. You will see what they're doing. Once you get your toehold there, then it's very easy to navigate your way. One can also start with doing some voluntary activities, be part of a social sector organization, start doing that, start building your network again, do some freelance work. Initially don't be very choosy. I think it's it's very, very important. They're not choosy at all, and work your way up. And that's how you'll feel you'll automatically graduate and you'll be in the thick of things. I would now like to actually throw open because, there's a lot. I'm sure a lot of people have questions, and I feel it's a good time to kind of open the to the audience any question that they may have.
There is a question, Shilpa, from Akanksha, asking that are there any opportunities for women in senior leadership roles in technology, and where one can find such listings?
So I think, as I said, after a gap of about 10 years, or whatever break you've taken, you immediately cannot look at senior leadership positions. I think what you need to do is, as I said, reach out to your ex-organizations, ex-colleagues from various technology organizations. Oh, you're not on the break. Okay, sorry. All right. Thank you for that. So I think senior leadership position, then you've got to get associated with headhunters or people like us who do senior leadership people. I think that's one way of reaching out. Okay. The other way of reaching out is to reach out to your connects. Okay. And put yourself on LinkedIn that you're looking for, to be a board member, looking at senior leadership positions. A lot of people are now actively putting their jobs, even senior positions like CXO levels on LinkedIn. And I think that really works a lot. It works quite a bit. And of course, headhunters are like us, are always happy to help you on senior leadership hires.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Most of the returnees, what they, they have fear factors in mind, right? One, because they have taken a break and, they have been away from the workforce and things like that. The first fear factor is how do I present myself, when I get an interview call? And how do I address my address the gap, which the career gap, when I've been asked by the interviewer that, you had a career gap on such, of these years, these number of years. So how to address those questions? So whenever we come across returnees, those are the very common questions we come across. So if you'd like to address those, Shilpa, please.
I think first thing before you look at getting headlong into an interview or applying anywhere. Okay. As I said earlier, one, upskill yourself. There are various online courses, as I said. Okay. What it does, it empowers you. It empowers you to talk about the things you've done. So automatically that confidence builds up. And I said, so that's one thing. Second, You may be in touch with a couple of people, before you before you took a break. Reach out to them and, put yourself out there and say, that, listen, hey, I'm looking to get back into the workforce. What should I do? Do you have any advice? Because it all depends on the sector you're interested in. So reach out to those sector specialists, reach out to those ex-colleagues and see what they have in mind. Maybe reach out to your ex-company as well if there's something they're willing to give you on a part-time basis. There's no point guilt tripping yourself or getting scared about coming back. You've been a successful person. You did very well, whatever you did before you took that break. You'll continue to do well. And you've done well in the break also, what you've done. You fulfilled all your duties to the best of your ability. You've done everything so well. So there's nothing to feel nervous about. You just have to go and start talking to one or two people. Read a lot as to what is happening in that industry. Empower, equip yourself. Read about it as to what's happening. Today, we have access to so much information. You read about what is happening in the industry, for example, in technology or in legal or in marketing or whatever. Read about it, see what is happening, see where the gaps are there, and try and see if you can bridge the gap by doing a certification or an online course. Once you do that, then start applying for the interview. And then, of course, when you're called for the interview, so this is the reason why you had taken a career break, which is fine. Everybody does that. There's nothing to feel, not capable about. We are all very capable people. All the women out here, all very capable. And said that this is the career break. But in the interim, what did I do? During the career break, what did I learn? This is what I've done. I've spoken to a couple of mechanics, and this is where I feel the gap lies. And this is my skill I bring to the table. Like if somebody's a very sales-oriented person, say I can do a lot of BD activities for you. I'm very confident. I like interacting with people. I can do a lot of BD activities for you. Somebody who's a process person and very process driven can say, I'm a very operations kind of a person. I'll handle all your processes for you. And somebody would say, I'm good in admin and I would like to do admin. So make 5, 6, pros and cons about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And then play upon those strengths and work upon your weaknesses over a period of time. All weaknesses cannot be worked upon immediately. You work upon them over a period of time. And build your skill. Keep reading, keep enrolling for courses, keep talking to people, put yourself out there on LinkedIn, looking for opportunities, talk to AFH and I think you'll get there.
Someone is asking Shilpa that she's interested to take a part-time job specifically in the legal domain. So any particular way where she can approach this kind of opportunity on any platform?
So there are a couple of websites which provide internship, but I'm presuming that they've done law, so and hence she wants to work part-time legal.
Yes.
So there are a couple of websites which I can't right now offhand remember, but it's very easily available. I think there's something called legally.com or something, with a lot of opportunities for part-time jobs, for interns, etc., which are available. Start looking at those websites, start talking to people, and there are enough and many opportunities which come your way.
Okay. Thank you, Shilpa. Yashki is asking, are there any opportunities for women with a gap to join in entry-level positions, as mostly organizations look for years of work experience? Also, if there are any platforms specifically for freshers or people who do not have experience?
Somebody for freshers will have to go to various portals like a Naukri, like a Monster, okay, where there are various categories of hiring available. In Naukri and Monster, there are many opportunities available, like temp opportunities, freelancing opportunities, part-time opportunities, fresher opportunities. My suggestion was, would you register your CV on Naukri and start looking at it from that manner? Automatically, you'll start receiving inward calls.
Because the apprehension is that, most of the organizations are looking
you. We can't hear you.
Right now?
Yes, please repeat. I didn't get that. Yeah.
Okay. So, I think her apprehension stems for the fact that a fresher vis-a-vis an experienced individual, how to navigate that fear and how to, go forward and appearing for the interview with with confidence.
Every experienced individual started as a fresher, right? There's a market for everybody. Today, if we were only taking experienced people, we would not be creating the talent pool below us. We wouldn't be creating the second line, third line, fourth line talent available. So there's nothing to worry about that. There is a requirement for freshers. There is a so why do you think people hire people from campus placements? They hire because they want freshers. They want people with new ideas, new innovation, new way of doing things. Today, I may have 30 years experience, but when I'm working with people who are the so-called Gen Zs, and I look at them, they have a different perspective of looking at things. They have a different way of approaching a problem. And that is something for me also to learn, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
people appreciate new talent, people appreciate innovation, people appreciate new ideas. As a fresher for an interview, you have to go in saying that, for the first 2 to 3 years, I want to try things and then arrive at my calling in life, which is fine because everybody gives you that time. Nobody expects that, the first job that you have, you're going to love it and you want to stay with that segment for the very long time, unless you've done a master's in a very specific subject where you want to continue and are clear about that, which is a different thing. But somebody who's graduated and is looking to get into a job first and then pursue their master's has to experiment with one or two things and then decide and say, okay, fine, this is what I want to master and do it. So this is what you got to be very candid. Today, I think organizations are very, very cognizant that the young generation has got different mindsets, have got different aspirations, and have a range of talent, a diversity of talent available to them. And they're very happy to give opportunities to such people. And hence, I think, a lot of people also have now started taking, for example, in wealth management, or for example, in investment banking, you're taking people in, people who've done their MBAs or CFAs, the chartered accountants, etc. They also get opportunities, right? So they're all freshers. So my thing too is that I think you should not worry about that. Just ensure that when you go into the interview, you go with clarity of thought that this is what you want to do. If you want to experiment with a particular segment like in HR or maybe like an investment banking for a year or two before deciding that this is the next level I want to, please be honest and tell them. There's nothing to fear because every fresher will have an opportunity for them to get experience and then become an experienced person. That's the way it works.
Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely, I agree, Shilpa, whatever, you have shared. There is another question from Shilpa. She is in her early 20s and she has graduated recently. She is asking that how can I plan for a career? I have 5 years of experience. I want to ask a question. No, okay. I want to plan ahead on the various things in the various technological areas and things like that. So how do I go about it?
See, I'm actually not a technology expert, but I can. But what has she? What has she graduated? Has she done technology? Has she graduated in?
Shilpa, would you like to answer that? What has been your graduation subject or specialization?
I think it's Lakshmi Priya, the one you asked the question.
Computer science. Computer science.
Okay. So, Lakshmi, I think I think your college would have a career counseling team or somebody who provides placements. That should be a first port of call, okay, as to what the various opportunities that are available. And also, another good thing would be talk to your peers from different colleges who are also doing computer science and figure out where are they going, what are they doing, because different people come with different perspectives. Different colleges have a different career coaching, career guidance centers. and you, I think, assimilate all that information, talk to people, you would have to make a start point somewhere and decide what part of computer science, what part of technology you would like to get ingrained in. Work for there for about 1 to 2 years, and then take a call as to that should be a port of career or not.
Okay. Gulzar is asking here, Shilpa, that she has near about 10 years of experience in HR as manager into talent acquisition and HR operations. She took break to take care of elders in her family, and now she's ready to join work, but not getting enough opportunities for mid-level roles. So how do you guide her forward?
There are 2, 3 things you can do. Is one immediate thing which comes to my mind is that maybe you can work in as a freelancer, talent acquisition in some of the various search firms. For this gives you an idea as to how search firms work, how you can actually start associating with them, and you get paid on a freelancer basis. If you think you like that, then you can look at taking that as a career full time. And then obviously work there 3-4 years, and if you like doing that, you can continue doing that, and that gives you a launch pad to probably look at corporate TA opportunities. So that will give you the roadmap.
The next question, Shilpa, is from Arpita. She wants to know that she has experience of 5 years as assistant professor in computer engineering college, but now has a 2 years of career gap and want to switch to corporate roles like software engineer, full stack and all. So what should she do?
Make a list of all the organizations where, so before I say that, I think, a lot of your answers, a lot of your questions would be addressed once you actually start doing a little bit of spade work in terms of what are the organizations who are hiring. Once you put your profiles on Naukri, once you put your profile on LinkedIn, and you see LinkedIn has also got various job openings. Okay. So look at the websites of these companies. They have a career section. Start applying to them. Start putting your profile in Naukri. You will get a calls. You will start understanding what kind of roles are available. Once you understand what the roles are available, then for you to decide whether this role is meant for you or not will become much easier. So start making a list of companies in the space, in the corporate space, where you feel you can add value, like a coder or a programmer or whatever, and then start looking at these companies.
Okay. Namrata is asking Shilpa that she has .NET development experience of
Sorry, what development?
.NET.
Okay.
Okay, and then for 7 years of career gap, she restarted as digital marketing executive for 4 years and again has a career gap of 8 months. So meanwhile, she's learning Selenium software testing, but not getting enough opportunities. So how would you like to advise her?
I noticed that you've done digital marketing as well. The other option which you can probably do is, a lot of the people today, social media is becoming so powerful. A lot of people also like somebody to kind of handle their Instagram handles, their social media handles, their Twitter pages. Maybe that's something you can start with. In terms of what you've done, in terms of technicality, I'm not the best equipped person because I'm not a technology expert. But, why don't you look at Odin School, because that will give you guidance. There's a boot camp which they run, and it will help you, just give you an idea, how to join back the workforce. I think for all technology people, you should look at Odin School, because they run special programs for women keen to join back the workforce, especially in technology.
Okay. Shilpa, if someone wants to go abroad and, settle with a job out there, is there any way, any structured approach towards that particular goal?
If
Padma is asking that question.
If somebody is a graduate and wants to go, or an undergrad and wants to go, there are many career counselors who are available, who actually tell you how to build your CV, how to make a note, how to build your skills, and then start moving, and then they identify universities for you, and they help and handhold you through that entire process. So my suggestion is for somebody who pursuant, keen on, desirous of doing an undergraduate program overseas, should obviously go through a professional route. These people are equipped. These people are networked. They know how to build, what skills you require to build your CV, and you can take it from there.
Okay. Anagya, yeah, someone wants to ask a question?
Hi, Shilpa.
Yeah.
I'm Tulsi Ravindra. Actually, I have an experience of 2.2 years as a technical officer. I had taken 8 years of gap, but in this 8 years of gap, I started my company, event management company. I worked and worked as a freelancer as a teacher, robotics teacher, and also also done retail marketing, everything. But now I want to return to my career. So I'm looking, but I'm getting I put it, the CV in Naukri also, and also in LinkedIn. I'm getting calls, but once I told them this is my story and everything, some people, you have a career gap, and you are not. They will call me, and after that they will tell that you have a career gap, you are not looking, and they all ask my age, and if I tell them that my age is 35, and you are not suitable for this role. Your CV is your resume is matching, but your age, because of your age and your career gap, you are not suitable for that. They are telling like that. Is there? I'm looking for the opportunities to grow myself, but I'm not. The opportunities are coming, but they are rejecting.
They are, sorry, rejecting. Okay.
Yes, because of my age and the career gap I had.
Tulasi, I think age has got nothing to do with it. You're still very young.
Uh,
Today, the retirement age in most companies is 58 or 62. And sometimes the companies are now bending rules to kind of accommodate people, even beyond 60, 65. So don't worry about that age. So don't let that deter you. I think
yes,
what you should, I think probably, sorry, what did you say what have you qualified in? What were you doing?
now I'm a homemaker.
No. Before that, you had qualified?
Before I'm an diploma in electronics and communication, and I had done not completed my BE in the last year because of my personal issues and my health. I left.
So you think you want, do you have an opportunity to complete your graduation by distance learning, remote learning, or do a certification? Do you have opportunity that, can you do that?
Yes, I can do that. But now I want to become a financially independent. So first I have to join to the work, and after that I'm planning to continue my education.
Okay.
Because in the peak of my career, I left the job, resigned because my marriage was fixed. So I have to come to Bangalore from Mysore. I was working in Mysore. I have to move to Bangalore. So this after that this all happened.
Right. You also done some, you were running your own media company, right?
Yes, that is before 3 months, 3 years before. After my pregnancy, I stopped that also. Recently, I worked as a freelancer as a robotics teacher.
You worked as a robotics teacher,
Yeah.
right? There could be many edtech companies, okay,
Okay.
which you could look at. I was just thinking about it. There could be some edtech companies who are looking for freelance teaching and teaching students online on technology, on robotics. And given that's your core skill set which is coming out, start evaluating that. Start looking at that thing. So you get the flexibility of understanding whether is that what you like, and then you can start doing that. And the other thing you can also do is, as you're doing, you also did your media and marketing and whatever, digital campaigns. Again, I said, a lot of people advertise on Instagram. Somebody wants to handle, we're looking for social media people who can handle our marketing, etc. Start doing that. But some of the edtech companies who are doing well can actually have opportunities for you. Because robotics is a very unique and niche segment. And I
Yeah.
think which you should probably capitalize on that. So start
Okay.
doing a little bit of research on that. And sometimes if, so hence I was saying that if you can try and do one certification, maybe an upskill in robotics,
Okay.
not a very high-end program, but you look at Udemy and Coursera and
Hmm.
check if there are any courses on robotics is something which you like, which you're passionate about, do that online while you're at home.
Okay.
Then start applying. And then you start confidently telling people, "Okay, this is what I've done, this is what is happening." Start looking at the industries, do a little bit of research, which industries employ for robotics, and start looking at that.
Recently, I attended an interview also,
Yes.
but in that interview, I all answered all the questions.
Hmm.
After that, yes, yeah, I answered all the questions correctly, and they are impressive. And after that, they rejected me. I asked them why. I answered all the
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Directly told why you are rejecting, and they told because of your age, and you are have a gap.
So
You are
then
having a career gap.
then you know what you should do? You should start quoting organizations like Microsoft, Accenture, Google, IBM, HSBC, JPM. If you read about it, tell them that all these organizations
Yes,
are
I
calling
told them
people.
because I applied for a job in Accenture, Microsoft, everything.
Hmm.
They have a reboost
Correct. That's
career
right.
reboot. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm applying. I applied also, and now also I'm applying for the job. I want to return to this corporate job because I don't want to do freelancing because I have a small child, 3.5 years old child. I want to take care of my home
Sure,
also.
sure. I understand.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking for a permanent corporate job. Or it's
But Tulasi, I would like to say that sometimes, things take its own time. We may
yes,
want it now, it may not happen
yes,
immediately. Yeah.
yes.
So
I'm
what do we
waiting.
do? Are we so then what do we do? We have to maximize what time we have currently. One part of it, somebody says, "Arey, I'll wait till my time comes." We don't want to do that.
Yeah,
No, we don't want to do that.
we have to.
We will do, if you like teaching, you can also take up tuitions, which is which is financially very well rewarding. Sometimes better than the job as well. If you can do that, like maybe start with 1 or 2 tuitions, 1 or 2 freelancing opportunities, get into that whole mode. So people know, Arish, this one's teaching. Maybe you never know, your teaching might become a full-time career for you, yeah?
Yes, which company I was working as a freelancer, they are calling me back because in a 1 week I had done for 1.5 months, but in 1 week the academy which I was doing, I was working as a teacher. They are impressive about me because without any training, I teach a small from first standard to 10th standard. I teach it robotics
So I
because
feel
they are
you should capitalize on your robotic skills because it's a very niche segment. A lot of people, and technology is the way to be. Emerging technology is the way to be. You should focus on that, build on that, make that as a career. Either by teaching, okay, and or secondly, slowly, gradually getting into a corporate job. Once you teach, maybe after doing a couple of freelance activities, you can tell that same company to say, absorb me full time.
yes, they have given me they told me to do soldering and some projects also. I have done everything. Projects, some for internship projects also. They have done. I have done PCB soldering. I learned with robotics classes also. I have learned something, and so I want to move to corporate jobs. That's why I
Yes, yes.
got
I'm saying you will move to a corporate job, but the process of moving to a corporate job after a point of time, it takes time.
yes,
I'm not saying it's impossible. It takes time. But you've got to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 to reach that end goal. So please continue doing those steps and it'll happen for sure.
okay.
Yeah?
Thank
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Shilpa. Angna is asking if she has experience in pre-sales bid manager.
In what?
Pre-sales.
Pre-sales. Okay.
Yes, pre-sales bid manager in telecom industry and a total years of experience of 10 years and a career gap of 9 years. So how can she proceed further?
I think same. I think the process for everybody wanting to come back is there has to be some start point. And that some start point is building your resume.
Right.
Adding little weight to your resume, adding some capability. That's your start point. Without that, you can't do anything. So it has to be very, very, very systematical. Build your resume, add a couple of certifications if you can do it, build your skills. Okay, that's one. Step number one. Step number two is, and write the break that you had a break. There's no problem in that, and this is what you were doing. But in the interim, this is the skills you picked up. Second, identify industries which you would like to be part of. A lot has changed in the 9-10 years gap. Do a bit of research yourself. Identify the industries or the same industry where you would like to be in telecom or some other places. There are a lot of pre-sales opportunities available in technology companies also. So identify some of these, look at it. Look at some of the postings on LinkedIn. Identify organizations and put a ready profile on LinkedIn saying that this is what is you're looking for the following opportunities. Be clear, this is the kind of opportunities you're looking at, either sales or pre-sales, etc. Identify 2-3 key skills of yours where you would like to get into. And then, of course, you to continue doing that and start talking to people. You've got to put yourself out there. If one is expecting that I would like to get into a corporate job, but if we don't go out there and try X, Y, Z, it doesn't really work. Hence, I keep saying, reach out to your ex-network, reach out to your ex-colleagues, put yourself on LinkedIn, put yourself on Naukri, and things will happen.
Right.
I'll give you an example, for my own example. I was a banker for 15 years. I decided to take a break when the Lehman crisis hit in 2008, 2009. And, I said, I don't want to do banking anymore. I didn't want to do. I said I'd done enough of banking. But I was clear that I wanted to do something and I was willing to wait 5-6 months. And I said, okay, fine, I'll wait 5-6 months. I spoke to a lot of my clients. I was a private banker. I was in a sales job. I spoke to all my clients. I asked them, what are the things which I can do? Please give me ideas. I reached out to a lot of people. They gave me a couple of ideas. Some part of HR was in my mind, but I didn't know what. That time HR was absolutely, had zero knowledge of HR and human resources. But some part of HR was in my mind. Then I met the current founder of Indusion Consulting, where I'm currently a partner with. And I told him that, please get me any job, but not banking. I'm not interested. Okay. So, of course, that was Lehman crisis. Markets were very, very bad. No job opportunities were coming up. And he said, okay, fine, I'll keep in mind. We may look at adding somebody senior to head a particular practice which you're looking at. Would you be open? And I said, yeah, I'm open. The only thing that worked for me was I went in without any baggage. I said, I don't want any past baggage that I will only do this or I will only do that and I will only do this. I said, okay, fine. I was a very successful banker. By God's grace, was making very decent amounts of money. And then after a week, he came back and he said, listen, I think I'm ready and I would like you to join us to head the wealth management practice. Now, obviously, a headhunting job and a banker's job, financially, they're not commensurate with each other. But I said, okay, fine. It's fine. This is a call I've personally taken. Okay. And I said, let me start. Okay. I took that and I took a major haircut on my compensation, on my salary. And I joined. And it's been 15 years.
Sure that you didn't want to go back to banking.
I was very clear. That's what I'm saying. Your choices have to be very clear. In your mind, you have to say, do I want to do this or this? Make a list of the organizations or industries you want to do and make a list of what you don't want to do. Once your to-do list is clear, start ticking them off and approach the relevant people, build a skill set according to that to-do list and start reaching out to people.
Shilpa, when it comes to upskilling, I sometimes feel that technical upskilling has very definite way forward because there are very, very, very cut technical skills that these are the 5 skills I want to upskill in or 3 skills I want to upskill in. What about the non-technical background people? If they want to upskill, where do they go?
As I said, you just open up Coursera and Udemy. You will find a list of courses for each caliber. If I'm an arts graduate and I feel like my leaning is towards psychology, and I've done that and I want to pursue that. Look up Coursera. There are many courses. If I'm a law graduate, I've taken a gap and I want to just do a little more certification just to be up to speed. There's something on criminology there. It's all out there. There are many options available. You just have to take that time out, be focused for at least 15 days to a month, go in a focused manner, identify your niche areas, work on your skills, work on your strengths.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm.
Don't start on a back footing. Work on the strengths that you have and work towards that. So take that 1 month out, take that 15 days out, write down what you would like to achieve, what you would like to do, and then start progressing. It just has to be very meticulously thought through process.
Yeah. And one more thing, if someone gets an interview call, what are the, few factors they must have in mind and they must ensure that, these are being taken care of to have a successful interview? Selection or rejection is a
Yeah, that is an out that can happen to the best of
Yes.
us.
But in terms of an individual, when one wants to present the best self of, in front of the panel, so what are the few factors they would like to, they should take into consideration to appear for an interview?
So basic hygiene factors, let's start with that. One, I think be well turned out. By well turned out, I don't mean very expensive clothes.
Right.
You have to be well groomed, smartly dressed, officially dressed. You can wear a nice Indian attires. You can wear a nice sari. You can wear a nice salwar kameez. You can wear a nice jacket or a trouser. Whatever works for your DNA, whatever whatever you're comfortable with. But go crisply attired. Okay. The confidence the panel starts observing you from the time you walk into the room. Okay. When you walk into the room, I think be pleasant, greet everybody, have a firm handshake, sit down and introduce yourself. They'll say, okay, start with what you're doing. So this is what I did in my, as a in academics, I've done so and so. This is what I qualified in. I worked in this particular segment. I took a break for whatever reasons, but it was a good decision because I felt I did what I had to. I completed my duties and I'm now ready and charged up to start again. You use positive words. You use positive energy. I think that automatically changes the disposition of the whole environment. Secondly, if somebody says, but we right now cannot look at anybody full time, be bold and say, why don't you look at me for part time? Why don't you look at me for a freelancing opportunity? Why don't you try me for a project? And if I do very well, then absorb me full time. Go out and say it. What's the harm? Worst case, I keep telling people that worst case, what will happen? They'll say no, right? Or at least you've tried. If you've not tried, you'll never know. So build on your skills, highlight your strengths, highlight your confidence, highlight what you would like to do, and why you're looking to come back. And I think the rest will be taken care of.
Shilpa, in your journey as a headhunter, must have come across various experiences. You have met so many people from various verticals, various functions, domains, and what do you feel? Like, what are the biggest advantages and disadvantages when people are consciously looking out for a job change or a career change or restarting their career? So, how would you advise, them?
Well, actually, what I've advised the panel and the attendees here is exactly I would do the same thing. It
Sure.
wouldn't be any different because I mean our advice is going to be percolating to everybody and it's going to be the same standard advice. All I would like to say is, don't get unfazed or despondent that the first few interviews, nothing is working out.
Patience is the key.
Patience. And what happens also very important. You go for a couple of interviews. First interview, you'll flounder, you'll be nervous. Anybody would be. Even I would be. After doing 3-4 interviews, your pitch becomes refined.
Very refined.
You said, Acha, isne ye pucha tha. I should go back home and say, okay, what would I have addressed this?
How
You
would-
go back prepared. So the first 3-4 interviews, you say, I am going to experiment and to understand what is lying ahead of me. By the 5th interview, you'll crack it. You'll be confident. And that's where you'll see the tides turning in your favor. So don't go with any expectation, "Arey, this is the first interview and I will get the job." If you do, fabulous. You deserve it, and I'll be very happy for you. But sometimes it takes time, so don't be despondent. Go through the process of interview as like a process of evolution. Okay, I'm learning these things. By the fifth interview, you'll know exactly what to say, the right words, the right things.
Right. And Shilpa, when the interviewer asks that, are you sure that you would be able to maintain a work-life balance because you had a career gap, and things like that, what is the best way of addressing that question? How confidently you can convince the interviewer?
Yes, tell them my children have grown.
Hmm.
Now this answer will depend on different situations for different people.
Right.
For different people, they say, yes, I have a very supportive family. My in-laws are very supportive. I have a supportive husband. He works from home and he's got a hybrid environment. The days I need to go to work, he'll be working from home. The days the children need to have an open house in school, he'll go. There's no problem. My in-laws are very supportive. I have a fabulous support system. I have hired help. I have domestic help. That answer will vary depending on the, or you can say that my son or my daughter is in a full day school and hence I'm ready now. By the time I reach home, they'll reach home. So there's no problem.
So the basic criteria is to convince the interviewer that you are job ready right now. And
No, absolutely. You got to say, and that's why you're there, right? One, very important. Only when you're ready, then do the interview. If you're doing it half-heartedly just to see, test the market, ki kya ho raha hai, then you're doing a disservice to yourself. Forget the organization. You're doing a disservice to yourself. When you're 100% convinced, that yes, I need to get into a job. Yes, I need to be financially independent. Yes, I need to do that. Then you start going out and you have to convince them that this is it, And I'm back. I've done my duties and I'm very proud that and be confident. I'm very proud that I fulfilled my duties and I consciously took a break under no duress, under no compulsion. There's a conscious choice. And this is with this conscious choice, I'm coming back to work.
right, absolutely. Anyone else would like to put up any, more questions to Shilpa? Any more questions? Because, okay, there is something in the chat box.
Hello,
Yeah,
may I speak?
yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah. Hi, Shilpa. This is Namita here. I'll just start my video. Hi. Thank you so much for the session today, because most of the sessions, that I've attended until now were very heavy on tech. Okay, this is one of the few sessions which had nothing to do with technology. And I am myself from a non-tech background. I've been a banker for a couple of years.
Oh, nice.
And I have been in the wealth management space.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
And during my break, we started a small home business, and I've also done courses from IIM Bangalore. Okay. The problem that I always face when I went for interviews is ageism, because I worked in the retail banking sector. And secondly, the fact that I'd taken a break. And today you've answered a lot of questions, how to tackle them, because I somehow felt when I was attending these sessions that getting back into the tech sector is much more easier, because you have the Google, you have the Microsoft, they all want women to come back. In the banking sector, you have an HSBC or you have an Axis Bank, and to some extent Accenture, who are saying we want women back. I would like to ask you, are there any other organizations, which are actively having return to work programs other than these three for women wanting to come back in the banking sector or the BFSI sector?
There could be many, okay. But honestly, Namita, I don't have the answer to that. Maybe we'll have to figure out and do a little bit of search and find out. The other option, Namita, I don't know if you've been a wealth manager and if you are AMFI certified and you could probably want to do that skill, you may also want to start something on your own. Like you can say, you can manage people's money, like your friends, start with friends and family, and work on getting mutual fund investments, build your annuity income, which gives you a good trail revenue, and you can start doing that if you would like to do that.
See, I was working in banking and in the wealth management division, okay, but I was always handling new projects rather than sales.
Okay,
and
okay.
How I realized my calling was, rather than just saying, as in a bank, mera mutual fund le lo, mera insurance le lo. I realized when I did my own SWOT analysis, ki I did not enjoy sales as much as I enjoyed.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah.
But what happens when you go for these interviews, even though the hiring is from, a lot of times the hiring is from within the organization, where maybe even the person who's hired ultimately for the job has no experience in that domain. There is always a bias saying ki you are above a certain age and you've taken a break. So how, specifically in banking, how do you handle that particular
So
challenge?
tell them, first they say that age has got nothing to do with caliber. Caliber remains constant.
Correct.
Yeah, caliber remains constant. If you don't like to do a sales job, say I'm happy for client servicing roles. In wealth management, there are a lot of client servicing roles. There are a lot of operations roles. A lot of mid office roles. Say that, why don't you evaluate me there? Because that's something I feel I understand the business and I will do a very good job. Plus, I'm good in talking with clients, so I can do that call on the phones and get things organized. But
Correct.
please do not. And I think today, if you look at the Gen Z, they speak their mind. They don't worry about who they're talking to, even if it's a parent or even it's anybody. They talk confidently because they've got the confidence. And I'm saying to all of you all, get that same level of confidence. Tell them that, caliber and age cannot be equated.
Correct.
You can have an age restriction for a particular role. Yes, as a headhunter, when I find that a lot of people come and tell us that, listen, our organization is very young. We don't want people above 40, 45 because we feel that they will not adjust, which is a fine thing. That's their DNA. But where there are people who are older than that and are working, then there's absolutely no, there's no way that they can say that age is a problem. That's why, hence I'm saying you have to go with that aggressive mindset, saying that this is why, and you have to counter it as to why do you think you should not be considered.
Correct.
If you're able to counter that, then I think there's no stopping you. Yeah.
Correct. And one more thing I have started personally doing is whenever I get a call from, say, a Naukri or from a Monster, I always ask the person or the recruiter who's calling me, I ask them, have you gone through my CV? Have you
Yes.
seen?
Very important.
Correct. Because most of them just, I think they do some keyword search and then they call you up and they put you to an interview where ultimately the interviewer will say, Arey, you've taken a break. So, the initial screening process has to be at your end. If that recruiter who's calling you up has not even bothered to,
Yes.
check your CV, that recruiter is never going to be right.
Absolutely. 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 I'm fully with you that I think that is a lot onus lies on the recruiter who's calling you.
Correct.
And you got to tell them that this is what it is and this is what I'm looking at.
Thank you, Namita. Thank you for your question. Hello.
Am I audible?
Hello.
Okay.
Shilpa, hello.
Yes, Namita.
Yeah, so we have come to the end of the session, and my heartiest thanks to Shilpa for taking the time out of her schedule and being on our platform and addressing all the questions and taking this session. I'm sure all the participants will have good takeaways at the end of it. Thank you, Shilpa, once again.
My pleasure.
Before I leave the session, I request Suganya to launch poll 2, please. And once that is launched, in the meantime, please go through our post, our SM sites, because there is a job fair coming up, as part of our job readiness program. It will lead up to the job fair on 9th in Bangalore. For people in Bangalore, please go and attend it. And for people who are pan-India outside Bangalore, please attend our job fair on 14th and 15th if shortlisted. A lot of organizations are coming and they are primarily looking at returnees. They are not looking at, people who are continuing in the workforce. They're primarily looking at returnees. So please be part of the job fair. And we wish all of you a lot of success in your job hunt with AFH. Thank you so much. Poll 2, I can see people have participated. If you can, rest of the people who have not, there is only one question. I request all of you to participate in poll 2 as well. And that will give a glimpse of, our data and numbers when we do some backend impact analysis. So kindly do that. I thank Suganya for taking her time out and being part of this, Zoom session, managing the Zoom room and everything. Shilpa, once again, our heartiest thanks to you for taking this time out and being with us today. Thank you. Have a very great day. Thank you
Thank you.
so
Thank you very
much.
much. Thank you all
Thank
of you
you.
all. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you, Shilpa. Thank you, Doyle.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye.